Pacific Playwrights Festival in 2024 features 7 new works, 2 full productions, and then 5 staged readings. I'll start with the 2 full productions. The first is Prelude to a Kiss, the musical, with a book by Craig Lucas, music by Daniel Massey, and then lyrics by Daniel Massey and Sean Hartley. It is an adaptation of Craig Lucas's 1988 play of the same name that premiered at South Coast Repertory back in the day, and then went on to great success on Broadway. It was a finalist for the Pulitzer, and it's performed regionally and just across the country, and has really become sort of a modern American classic. In PPF, there is now a musical adaptation of that play. That is although it is based on the play, it is a new piece. It is a contemporary piece as opposed to a piece that was set in 1988, like the original play was. And it's a really sort of beautiful, sweeping, lush, very funny, but still slightly risky and dark musical that audiences really seem to be responding to. That's on our Segerstrom stage. And then on our Argyros stage is a play called Galilee 34 by Eleanor Burgess. That is a play that is set in 34 AD, about a year after the death of Jesus, and it follows Jesus's disciples and those close to him as they sort through what to do next and how to spread his message and what spreading his message really means, and what fundamentally his message is. It's a wonderful play that certainly looks at the history behind theology, but ultimately it is a sharp and very, very funny, and moving comedy about people. It is really about a family. It is a family story. It is deeply based in character. And Eleanor, her writing is so sort of insightful, thoroughly and deeply researched, but at the same time, so sort of achingly real, and so sort of like urgent for an audience despite it being a period piece. So that's on our Ardro stage. So those are the 2 productions. And then the 5 staged readings. The first is a play called Meeting for Worship by Ana Nogueira, and that's directed by Mike Donahue. And that is a play that is set in a Quaker high school in 2003. And it looks at what happens when, within the school, an event occurs, and an event that has some very serious fallout, and how the fabric of the school is really tested because of it. It is a pretty expansive reading. It is a cast of 19 actors, so it's a really large group of people on that stage, and that's also an SCR commission. Second reading is a play called The Brothers Play by Arya Shahi, and that's directed by Knud Adams. That play is a much more intimate look at the relationship between 2 brothers, and then to an extent their family as well, as one of the brothers returns back to Tucson, Arizona, where the 2 brothers grew up, in the face of an event that occurred to him, and how they figure out and try to sort of plan a path forward. Um, and then that evening, we have a reading, and this is a reading that's in one of our smaller spaces, so it plays throughout the weekend, a reading of a play called You Are Cordially Invited to the End of the World by Keiko Green, and that's directed by Zai Alakan. And that tells the story of a man who is diagnosed with a terminal illness, and how he decides to live the rest of his life, and how he tries to understand what his mortality means. Keiko's play is really a kind of a celebration of existence and a celebration of the theater. And so while it seems like it tells a dramatic story, which it does, it certainly is a story with depth and stakes. It is really sort of a celebration. It's an event. It's a piece of event theater. So we're very excited to share that with audiences. And then on Saturday morning, we have a reading of a play called Fremont Ave by Reggie D. White, and that is directed by Taylor Reynolds. And that tells a story of a family. It begins with a man buying a house in suburban Southern California in the 1960s. Um, and then he meets someone and they fall in love. And it is a story of a family across three generations, all living in that house. And it is this sort of wonderful, deeply nuanced look at people and relationships within a family and all those dynamics and all the love that's there, but at the same time, all the pain and all the hardship that comes with loving people. And so it sort of tells this beautiful multi-generational story. And then the final reading is a play called An Oxford Man by Else Went, directed by Emma Rosa Went. And it tells the story of Lawrence Michael Dillon, who was a transgender pioneer, a real life person who started working with hormone therapy back in the first part of the 20th century. Else is a stupendous writer, so imaginative, so creative. It's really a sort of a kaleidoscopic play that's told in so many different ways. At times, it's like Oscar Wilde. At times, it's this wonderful Bildungsroman that's almost like a fairy tale. At times, it's very intimate and sincere, and so it's really going to take audiences on a journey. So it's a very exciting way to end the festival. I would say that overall, it is a presents a wide range of plays. No two plays are really alike in how they share their stories with the world and also what the content of their stories is. So on Sunday morning at 9 a.m., we have a playwrights panel that will be on our Segerstrom stage. And we will have most, if not all, of the playwrights who are involved in the festival on that panel, and that will be moderated by SCR's Artistic and Engagement Associate H. Adam Harris. And so the playwrights will all talk a little bit about the inspiration behind their plays, their process, what it has meant to go through PPF and what they learned during that process. And then we'll of course also leave some time for audience questions too. First of all, honestly, I would love for them to have fun and have a good time and to see some good theater. I think that's really the heart of the festival from an audience standpoint. Part of how we hope to program the festival is you're not going to see two things that are really alike. We want you to have a wide-ranging experience. For our local audiences, Orange County audiences here, I hope that it invites them to be part of the new play process with South Coast Repertory to share what excited them and what resonated with them, both within the plays and also within the festival experience overall, and then also to share, their questions, the things that they weren't sure about, because it's always wonderful to essentially be able to provide sort of through some of these readings like a sneak peek of what might come on our stages at a future time. And then for the industry professionals, once again, first and foremost, we want them to have a great time and to see some great theater. But we also hope to introduce them to some new writers that they might know, some writers they will know, and also to introduce them to some new plays that might excite them and they might want to bring to their theaters. I think that folks should attend the Pacific Playwrights Festival because I think that they'll have a really good time. It's a very celebratory atmosphere. It's a really sort of exciting endeavor. I think that a lot of people aren't sure about attending staged readings because, it's music stands and people reading scripts. And my answer to that would be you have no idea how much fun you can have when you can let your imagination run wild and just see what this play might look like in three dimensions in your mind's eye. And so I encourage you to just try it out because it is usually a lot more fun than than you think it would be. Um, and I would encourage people to, I would say that people should come to the festival because it's there's nothing like the sort of exhausting experience of seeing seven plays in a row. It really does challenge you. It asks a lot of you to come and see that much theater all at once. But I think that when you leave the experience, you really feel full. You feel very tired, but you feel very full, and you have a lot spinning around in your head, and it's an incredibly kind of satisfying exhaustion. Um, and then I would say that the reason people must come to the Pacific Playwrights Festival is because now more than ever we need people to support live theater and to keep it alive and to keep it vibrant. My name is Andy Knight. I'm the director of the lab at SCR at South Coast Repertory, and I want to invite you to come to the Pacific Playwrights Festival May 3rd through 5th at South Coast Repertory. It's a wonderful weekend of new plays, both in stage reading formats and full productions. It is a place to celebrate new theater. It is a place to celebrate new American playwriting. It is a place to see what artists are thinking about today and what will happen next on the stages of the American theater. So I encourage you to come and be one of the people that sees it first.